What's happening, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, Triple F's. We're all about family, firearms, and fine fragrances around here. Got some big news coming up. Me and my wife are having a baby tomorrow. So as of this Sunday coming up. So this is going to be the last video for a little bit because, you know, we will definitely have our hands full. So, you know, we figured that since we were going to have a baby, something that is made together, we would also do a tabletop review of something that both me and my wife own. So sticking in the world of fine fragrances, the fragrance that we're talking about is Tom Ford's Black Orchid. We'll get a little look at the box here real fast. Yes, it's already been opened. It's got this gold look to it, a little bit of ribbed for pleasure. And then the bottle. This is hard to do on camera. Kind of more the same. It's got the gold look, ribbed as well. Atomizer. One thing about mine though is my atomizer was a little dented right here upon actually getting the box, but that's not bad. I'll be all right with it. Nice sleek looking bottle. It has I don't know why, but when I look at this bottle, it reminds me of the 20s for some reason.
Yeah.
Does it remind you of the 20s? Like, I don't know, it just says the 20s for some reason to me.
It does.
Like, as soon as I see it and I start thinking about it, just the roaring 20s.
Did you think about those dresses that have the stuff at the bottom?
Yeah, exactly. Or like, you think about like a jazz club stage. Like the look of like the pillars coming down and like the bottom of the stage and so on. That's exactly what I think of. And plus, they were big on like golds and stuff like that at that time. You know, that roaring 20s. So little quick story here about this. This was my first fine fragrance. I started out looking for something with some chocolate in it. I realized that there isn't very much out there that smells like chocolate, and at the time that I wanted to get into fragrances, that wasn't a real demand for sweeter gourmand meaning food-esque fragrances. It just there wasn't really much that I could find. And this one, though it's not labeled as a chocolate fragrance, whenever I was looking at reviews, I found that this had chocolate-esque vibes to it. So I ended up going to Macy's, and I smelled the original Black Orchid. And I kind of understood where they were coming from a little bit with the original. But then I had the lady behind the counter say, well, if you're looking for something that leans a little bit more male, although it's not marketed toward males, but it still leans a little bit more male on a male's skin anyways, and still has a little bit more of that chocolate that you're looking for, then you got to go with the Parfum. So I smelled the Parfum, and I was really torn between the two of them for a little while. And of course, this was expensive as well because I'm just trying to decide to either buy it at full retail or not. And I bit the bullet, paid full retail for it. And I'm telling you what, it has chocolate reminders of it, yes. And as it dries down on my skin, yes, it has that kind of that chocolatey feel. But I found out a couple more things about this, and we'll get into that here in a moment. But that's just a little story. I was looking for something gourmandy. I was looking for something that had like chocolate notes to it. And this is also the first time that I heard about them also making unisex fragrances. So the Parfum, the Tom Ford Black Orchid Parfum, is a unisex fragrance, but they marketed it more toward women. even though whenever I was talking with the people behind the counter, they said that it leaned a little bit more masculine. So I don't know. I don't know if they don't know what they're talking about, or if they was just trying to sell me something. That could also be it. But I will say that it is vastly different between whenever my wife wears it and I wear it. But we'll get more into that a little bit later on. So let's start off with the price. So for a 1.7 ounce bottle, which is what we got going on right here, which is a 50 ml, $200 full retail. You can go to discounters. Had I known this before, I probably would have done that. But you can go to discounters and find a 100 ml bottle of this very same at FragranceNet for $167.99 for 50% more capacity. You can go to Joma Shop and get it for $139.99 for, once again, a full 100 ml bottle. And then Joma Shop also offers a 50 ml bottle just like this for $114.99. So yeah, I kind of bit the bullet there. Had I known about discounters and stuff like that, then I would have went with the discounting route. But I will actually say this, in my opinion, when it comes to the full retail and so on, this is one of the few fragrances that I actually think is worth that money. And I'll explain a little bit more as we go on. But let's knock out the technical stuff, the accords. So your accords end up being earthy, sweet, woodsy, patchouli, yellow floral, fruity, rum, warm spicy, some floral, and animalic. I don't know where they're getting animalic from out of this, but whatever. And then your notes. In the top, you got truffle and plum. And I'm telling you, anytime I ever have anything with plum in it, it always ends up being an absolute banger. Middle notes of rum, ylang ylang, black orchid, which is so orchid doesn't really have a smell, so it's a synthetic floral smell. And then in the very base, you have patchouli. So, with all these notes mixed together, the truffle, the rum, and the patchouli do create a chocolate-esque feel after it dries down a little. It has to dry down a little, but once it dries down, at least on my skin, the chocolate creamy-ish feel really comes to the surface, and it's what kind of permeates. And it doesn't take long for it to change into that either. But that chocolate feel that you're looking for, you can find it in this, but it's not going to be, I can't say that it's like chocolate forward. It's not a chocolate scent, but everything mixed together does have a chocolate feel. But it's also a floral / little fruity top note. And that top note hangs around for, I would say, almost the entire length of the fragrance itself. It's really, really, really unique. It is, I would say, one of the most unique scents that I own. Because nothing else smells like this. This is in a category all on its own. I don't think in the real world, other than me and my wife, have I ever smelled anyone wearing this. But man, I know that if you do, it does turn some heads. Speaking of turning heads, this stuff is a beast on longevity and projection. 2 sprays will permeate off of you all day long. And if you're in an enclosed space, like if you're in an office building, if you're at the movies, if you're I don't know. I'm trying to figure out some just normal like indoors activities. Like if I don't know if you're at church, this stuff is gonna radiate off of you. People are gonna smell you for like probably 2 to 3, maybe even 4 feet away. And it's not gonna kill you. It's not like you're burning nose hairs off by any means, but you are gonna be detected with this stuff. My wife, she wore this the other day, and she walked through the house, and then like close to like a minute later, I just walked through her sillage where she was, and I still smelled it there. It was like she left a ghost of herself behind, and it was still there in the air. So sillage is eternal on this. This stuff lasts forever. If you get it on your clothes, it will smell like that until you wash them clothes, and you might even pick it up a little bit after you wash your clothes. It is strong. It is very, very strong. You go 3 sprays on this, and you will be smelled outdoors. It is very, very, very serious. I've owned this for probably the better part of 3, going on 4 years now, and I've barely used any of it because you don't need a whole lot whatsoever. And then I ended up with a second bottle of this that was given to me by my family. And I was like, you know what? There's no point in me having 2 of these. I might as well go ahead and give one to my wife. So I gave one to her. She wore it, and I was like, wow, the florals really come out in your skin and so on. And then whenever I smell it on me, I get more of the chocolate and boozy rum that comes out of it. And I think the chocolate really does lean itself a lot to the patchouli. Patchouli has its way of doing that. So my opinions on it, wow, it is a beast mode, heavy performing knockout. This is why I say that it is actually worth the $200 price point, because it doesn't require a lot. It lasts all day into days, and I mean, what else the presentation's beautiful. It's what you really want out of a fragrance. It really is. You want something that lasts a long time. You want something that's going to turn heads. You want something that projects. Unless you're the kind of person that wants to just like be discovered, this isn't going to be something that stays close to you so that you can be discovered. Unless like you do one spray underneath your shirt and then put a jacket on. You might get that at this point. But that's my opinion on it, from my wearing experience of it. What about you, hon?
I don't think I've ever had a fragrance surprise me so much. Because I smelled it on you before you gave me the second bottle that you had. And I liked it on you. And I knew it was unisex, but I kind of could never see it that way, smelling it on you. And then you gave me the bottle anyway, and I was hesitant, but it surprised me a lot by how different it smells on me versus how it smells on you. Like, what was it the other day? We might have both ended up wearing it. I wore it like the day before, and I was like, this is not the same scent. There's no way. But
because it smells so feminine on you. Like,
yeah.
It smelled like a girl perfume on you.
Yeah, like the florals really do come out. Like, all I could smell was, flowers, and it was still a little darker.
It was darker, almost like a slight, like, sweet creaminess is what I was picking up out of it.
But on you, I don't get so much floral. So, a
true unisex fragrance, right? Like,
no, it's really unisex, and the way that it can change person to person is like just mind blowing. Like, even just saying it, like, that's something you have to experience to really understand.
No, I definitely agree. It surprised me because I've only ever smelled it on me. Or I let my buddy try it on once, but he's also a dude, so all I noticed was the same thing. He tried one spritz of it on, and I was picking it up from him, and it just kind of smelled like it did on me. But when you wore it, it was so different. And like you said, whenever you wore it one day and then I wore it the next day, that was the first time. Sorry, I was actually able to like do a close comparison of a unisex fragrance and specifically this fragrance on two separate genders, and it's like it wasn't even the same thing. Like, yeah, it had the same DNA, but man, it smelled completely different.
No, it's insanely different on both of us. Even it's just mind blowing.
No, seriously.
And it smells good on both of us.
No,
like it's not that it changes and it smells bad on one of us. Like, it smells good on both of us.
Oh yeah. You know, since this is a unisex fragrance, my opinion is this something that is sexy on a woman? In my opinion, oh yeah, this is delectable right here. Like, I just couldn't get enough of it whenever my wife was wearing it. I almost couldn't believe that it was something that I gave you. I was just like, wow, this is so good. I didn't know how good it was gonna be. And when I smelled it on you, I was just like, I was head over heels. It was great. What do you think? Is it a lady killer or is it a flop?
No, it's a lady killer.
It's a lady killer?
Yes. Like, as good as I think it smells on me, like, I think it equally smells just as good on you.
So, certified lady killer?
Oh, yes.
All right, gentlemen, you heard it. Certified lady killer. And for a lady to wear it, absolutely love it. I don't know if you call that a man killer, but I guess if I could call it a man killer, it definitely is. So, we're going to give it its rating out of 10. I'm going to be super, super, super harsh on it. This, in my opinion, is going to be a 10. This is great. This is one of the few that I can actually give a 10 on. I have never regretted buying it. I've never thought to myself, wow, I wish I didn't have this, or I wish it smelled different. It is its own unique thing. Just a little cautionary thing that it is unisex and it has some floralness to it and so on. So if you're looking for a really masculine smell, this isn't going to be it. If you're looking for masculinity in it, then if I was going to rate it on a masculine scale, I'd probably only put it at like maybe a 6. But I'm not rating it on that. I'm rating it on the uniqueness, the smell, longevity, the sillage, all aspects of performance, and just overall what it is. 10 out of 10 for me, in my opinion. The only thing that I wish that I knew was that you can get a bigger bottle on discounters for less than I paid for the the littler bottle. It's a good thing that you don't need a whole lot of it, because then I'd be spending more money on this. So that's my only complaint. But is it actually worth the $200? Yes. If you couldn't find this anywhere else and it wasn't something that you can find on discounters and stuff, I'd pay $200 for that, because that is worth $200. This is a fine fragrance. Definitely it does lean more winter and fall. You could probably pull this off in the spring as well. If you're going to do summer times in this, evenings only. What do you think? What's your rating out of 10, babe?
I guess I'd also have to give it a 10 out of 10, just for the versatility alone.
Right.
And it's strong, I've never had something surprise me so much. Like, if you had asked me a week ago, maybe it wouldn't have been a 10 out of 10. But after smelling it on both of us and really seeing the versatility, that's kind of what bumped it up for me.
Yeah. Definitely a very strong buy. So that's all we got for you here today. It's gonna be a little bit before we post something else, because like I said, we're having a baby. It's gonna be a hot minute because we're gonna be busy. It's gonna be an experience. I am gonna get into doing firearms again. It's just I have way more fragrances than I do firearms, so I really do want to split those up as best as possible, so I don't do all my firearms that I have on one go, and then you never see any firearms content again. But so far, Tom Ford Black Orchid Parfum. Absolute banger, beast mode performance, everything that you're looking for. Not the most masculine ever, but man, absolute banger.